upside down to epoxy the bottom of these and primer them and paint them. So we just sanded everything down pretty good. So that's what we're doing right now, is prepping for the epoxy thinner coating. He's going to do that one first because I've got to put the non-sag. I'm going to put like a layer. I can maybe show you an example where I already did it with the other stuff. Problem, if you don't use the non-sag, it runs down. See, it runs down on the corners. It starts here and then it just slides all down, and then you got a big glob there that you can't get rid of. So I got the non-sag, and basically this is like a coating like we're going to have with the non-sag. It's going to be a thick layer that I'm going to put on all this, but he needs to harden this wood because this is Lawan and it's soft. Not super soft, but it's not a hardwood. It is considered a hardwood, maybe, I don't know. It's a medium wood. How's that? And so yeah, so he's gonna harden it up with this epoxy thinner mixture, and then after that, then I'm going to come back and do the no sag, the non-sag. Because you can see I tried to do it with the sag type, but see how it just runs down. See, I put in like a thick coating here, but it all ran down here. And I could chisel all that up, but I'm not going to spend that much time doing it. I'll wait till I get all my non-sag on there and smooth it out with that and make it kind of nice cosmetically. Fix that instead of grinding everything away. That takes a lot of time. So we're working on this one here. He's getting this one going. And next one we'll do is this bad boy over here. He started on this one, but because they got to paint this whole thing, and I can't start on that, because as soon as this is done, I can start putting my non-sag on here while they're doing all these other holes. So anyway, that's what's happening. And then we got to do these too, honey. Yeah, tell him we have to do these arms too. Okay, be sure we get all that stuff done. So there, once again, you see the bottom of the hole with the chines. And that hopefully will keep us going in a straight line when we want to go in a straight line. And when we turn, it'll hopefully grip enough water that it'll give us a nice clean turn. But we'll see. Time will tell. This is an experimental boat, our Trimaran. So anyway, they're busy putting epoxy on the exposed bronze nail heads over there. And he is putting the lacquer thinner epoxy mixture to harden those chines. So we will be back with more of my paradise on Bentalion Island. My world is upside down. Bye for now. We got the bottoms of the boats hulls, well, all but the center one, lacquered and lacquer thinner and epoxied. Lots of coats because this is the hull and it's going to hit the sand and everything, so we're trying to toughen it up as much as we can. We also put it's called non-sag epoxy. If you put it straight, it's not supposed to run down, and it does, but not as bad as regular epoxy does. So I put a super thick coat on all of the chines here, and we're letting that dry. And on both of the outer holes, we got both of those done today. We got to still primer paint the bottom of the hull, and I also need to grind this because this is just kind of rough work here. This is the, see, you can see that needs to be ground down smooth, but I put it on really thick, but it's so sticky and gummy you can't do any real artistic work with it. And like I said, it does run. It runs more than I thought. Right here you can see that run, so I got to grind that off, but that's what grinders are for. I can clean all this up, and the only thing that sees these are the fish, so I'm not that concerned about appearance on the bottom. I just want durability and abrasion resistance on the bottom. So we got this outer chine done, and just a little bit of the front part of that center chine, and we ran out of epoxy, and it's 5:30, so it's time to go. We're packing everything up and getting ready to head out, and we will finish up tomorrow First thing I got to do in the morning is grind all these so they can epoxy primer, which is this gray stuff. I know this stuff looks like this stuff, but this is lacquer thinner and epoxy. Epoxy is gray. Regular epoxy, marine epoxy is gray, and the lacquer, epoxy primer is also gray. That's just what they had in stock, so I got the gray epoxy primer. So I know they look the same, but this needs epoxy primer. But I gotta, once I grind these all down and they paint it, everything will be gray. You won't have the little white or the yellowish, beigeish lines on the chines. They'll all be gray. So I got a lot of grinding to do tomorrow, but this stuff grinds pretty quick, and like I said, I'm just going to kind of hit it and just kind of clean it up. Just do a light cleanup job, make it smooth, and not spend too much time doing that, and then we'll be good to go for painting. So we will, after we paint the primer, then we can paint the white on everything. So we got to do that tomorrow too. Then and that's several coats of that too, sanding and coating and sanding and coating. So we will be back with more boat body shop, paint and body shop. Trimaran paint and body shop. Bye for now. Hey everybody, we're jumping right into it this morning. Yeah, honey. Yeah, honey, tell them there's no, they don't need to sand these, only this. Yeah, don't sand these. Yeah, don't sand these, only this. Yeah, we'll just leave that. Yeah, we don't want to sand the chines because we want a really super thick coating on there for abrasion resistance, because they're going to be the thing that hits the sand, hits the coral, hits the rocks every time. So we're trying to keep them thick and rich and chocolate. So anyway, they're sanding that hole, getting ready to epoxy primer it, and we got to finish epoxying the chines here. This one's ready to be sanded and ready for the epoxy primer, I believe. We'll see if they put another layer of epoxy primer on that or not, or if they just sand and that's it. So I got to go mix some epoxy, put down the camera. So we got this far yesterday and we ran out of epoxy, so we got to get more. And like I said, I'm leaving these kind of rough, not really super smooth, but I think that might be the best answer for protection. It's kind of sloppy and lumpy, but I really don't care. Hydrodynamically, that's probably not going to be the best thing, but that's not really a big factor, so I'm just leaving them like that. Hopefully it works out. It should. As far as abrasion resistance, I'm more concerned about that than hydrodynamics at this point. So we will be back with more from my paradise on the Italian island. Bye for now. Hey everybody, we are now rolling on the primer. This is the actual Battleship Gray primer paint, and getting all the chines done. Again, I didn't really grind those chines down smoothly or nothing. I just left them thick and rich and chocolate with the epoxy on them. So it'd be really a lot you have to really drag bottom a lot to get through that epoxy into the wood. And so I just figured that was the lesser of the two evils. I can grind them down smooth, but then there'd be some thin spots. So, or just leave them thick, and I left them thick and strong. So anyway, we're over here doing this one too now. You can see we epoxied this. I'm working on this one here. It's non-sag epoxy, but it still does run some, especially if it's in the sun. If the sun hits it and it heats up, it'll start to running a lot. So anyway, and I do grind some of this out. So I think, no, that one's going to be painted next over there. So again, the lighting's not good because we're under the blue roof here, the blue roof. So it darkens, colors everything. So he's rolling it on, and we'll be back with more with my paradise on Bentayan Island. Bye for now. Here is what a primed Trimaran hull looks like. We still got to put a couple more coats on because we got to get into these little holes and stuff, and so you can see where there's not primer. But this is just the first coat. But that, my friends, is the battleship gray. Yeah, honey, tell him to be sure and do this end too, honey, because this is sanded, right? Tell him to be sure to do this end too. Just see, this is sanded. But yeah, is he going to primer that now too, at the same time? Okay, so we'll see. So we're doing this one right now. So anyway, we're going to let those dry. We're going to go to lunch, and when we come back, I'm going to grind those down. Just take off the heavy, big, ugly spots, and then just let the rest ride. So we will be back with more. Once again, Boat Paint and Body Shop, right here. Boat Build Paint and Body. How's that? Bye for now. Ready? Look at that. Our first coat of white paint. Of course, again, you can't tell because we're under the blue thing and it makes it look gray. Well, and plus, it's just a thin coat too. So, just a very thin coat of white paint. So, the gray primer is still showing through too. But anyway, that is the official first coat of white paint. And we got a really, really, really windy day here. And the leaves are blowing everywhere, but the good news is they're not really sticking too much to things, so we're pretty lucky about that. So anyway, here's the painter slash boat builder slash oldest brother is the guy that won't let anybody paint but him, and that's good because he's real consistent and I'm not. So anyway, we got all these chines ground down. I just ground them again. I'm not doing a super job on this. I'm just kind of taking hitting the high spots so that because I want to keep the thickness on this stuff, and it's, you just can't be too artistic with epoxy. It's just gummy and sticky, and you can't smooth it out. And I mean, once you grind it, you could, but again, I don't want to grind it down to where there's it back down to the wood, because I want that protective layer against sand, coral, rocks, whatever this thing's bottom drags on, to not eat through it. So we hopefully did a good enough job. So I'm gonna let him paint, and I'm gonna get something to drink because I'm thirsty. Gatorade, by the way, not beer. I'm working. So we will be back with more from my paradise on Bentayan Islands. Paint it white. I see a gray boat and I want to paint it white. If you know Rolling Stones, you'll get that one. Bye for now. There were 3 white hulls. Check it out. These aren't final coats, these are first coats of white. But anyway, we're repainting the big boy, or the mothership, white, and primering the epoxy there. You can't primer enamel, well, it'll just peel off. So you have to primer the wood or the epoxy, one of those two. And we've been primering epoxied wood. So, but anyway, I keep hearing thunder and stuff, and the forecast says 0% chance of rain. Honey, is that thunder?
Yeah.
It's rolling. It doesn't stop.
This airplane.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So anyway, painting this guy. We got an eye. You can see that the gray epoxy for the bronze nail heads is barely showing through now after the first coat. But so we're getting there. She is getting painted white, white, and white. Wow. It's going to look bigger. It looks larger when it's white. I don't know why. Because before it was just kind of a dark, especially when it was gray, it really dark. But anyway, white, white, and white. So anyway, we're going to let them paint. And we're going to be gone for a couple of days, so we're going to let them paint until we get back. Because they don't need supervision to paint, because I don't know how to paint anyway. Actually do know how to paint. In fact, when I go back to Battalion Island, we're going to paint our new rental house. So I'm actually going to paint there. So paint here, paint there, paint everywhere. Lots and lots of paint. So we will be back with more Trimaran boat building, paint, and body shop. Alrighty, steel painting. So supposedly they're going to be painting all next week, because we're going to put 4 or 5 coats on this thing. We got extra paint, a couple extra gallons. So we got about 3 gallons of paint that we're going to put on here on the outside and the bottom. 3 or 4 gallons for all these boats. About a gallon for each one, maybe a gallon and a half, because we've already been through 2 gallons on the inside. Painting all the inside. Yeah, ask him, is it safe in there?
Safe na dali nimo kuya. Kira ni dili.
So anyway, we will be back with more from my paradise on Battalion Island. Painting Trimarans. Bye for now. Hey everybody, here we are with the first coat of the white paint on these guys. We got them primered, and of course they're upside down. You can tell that, can't you? And of course we haven't painted the stairs yet. We primered them, but then we flipped it to do the bottom and epoxy the chines and get the bottoms all ship-shape before we and we'll paint the whole thing upside down. Everything here will be this, all the 4, 5, 6 whatever coats we put on here will be put on with the boat being upside down, so you can do the bottom and the sides and everything. The inside's already been done, and there's just a little bit of trim work on the inside, and like I said, the stairs back here need to be done, so there'll be a little bit of trim work once we flip them back, and then that'll be that. But we gotta let this bottom dry, because you can't set it on the sawhorses or it'll stick and then it peels all your paint off, and that's never a good thing. So we will keep on painting, and we'll be back with more from my paradise on Battalion Island. 3 white boats, holes, 1 boat, 3 holes. Bye for now.